All right, welcome back to Lockdown Sports. Welcome back to NBA Casuals, where we lie honestly about basketball. Jono is back from maternity
leave. Is that what we're doing?
Never mind.
Crazy.
Anyways, this week we're going to figure out how to stop the Denver Nuggets. Jokic is probably on his way to a second NBA championship.
Okay.
Between OKC and Minnesota, there has to be a solution. Stay locked in. Subscribe if you haven't already. Weekly dose of basketball content for you, fame for us. Sounds like a good deal.
I reckon it does, yeah.
All right, John, nice and quickly. Where are the Denver Nuggets going to finish in the postseason before we get into the video?
That's a good question because I was going to ask you the same thing.
You know I rate them. They're my title favorites.
I feel like it's inevitable, once again, at least to make the finals.
Let's get into it. John, how are we going to decide this? Flip of a coin, flip of a remote?
Remote? Let's do remote.
Are you going to go back or front? Back or chest?
Back.
Okay. All right. It's landed on the front.
So what does that mean?
Landed on the chest. I think I get to choose. I get to choose.
You choose.
All right. I am going to rep the Minnesota Timberwolves, who I think, honestly, have the best matchup with the Denver Nuggets. Let's start the conversation with defense. How are we going to stop the Jokic-Murray pick and roll? Okay. And everyone gets drawn into, during the playoffs, gets drawn into matchups, right? It's about how can you take this guy? How can you do this? But for me, the other side of it is the human side, John, about actually going through a few different schemes throughout a game. Because if you face this Denver Nuggets side like we did last season, we made the NBA Finals as the Miami.
Okay.
6 games, fought it out, did our best. But when you go 6 games, you can't run the same thing more than 3 minutes. Jokic will figure that out, guys. You run the same thing, he'll figure it out. So I've listed 3 potential schemes we could have. Not schemes, but how we can utilize certain matchups in our favor. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna start the game backcourt of Gobert and Cat. Frontcourt. Sorry.
What a cracker backcourt. Frontcourt.
It's hard because it doesn't. Yeah. Never mind. But yeah, you start the game there. You have the ability to help in the paint.
That's a tough
Aaron
defense,
Gordon.
man. 4-time decoy. That's crazy. French man. How do you score on him?
Why?
It's tough, eh?
What's your point here? Because it is tough.
It's tough.
It is tough.
Fake defender.
It is tough.
Shaq knows.
All right.
He's a fake ass defender.
All right. We're going to bring Shaq into this. All right. Shaq hasn't watched like more than 5 games of basketball this season, and he's covered about 100 of them.
Top 10 player in history. I trust his word.
Right. So you've got that lineup, and when possible, you are able to switch off Jokic. You are able to do that with these big lineups.
Okay.
Compared to other teams, you have 2 bodies. Then you have the possibility of an agitator lineup. One of the things Miami did last season, John, was use a smaller guy to get up and under Jokic and have that free man roaming. You could do that with Naz Reid. He'll be stronger than most. I don't think it'll work long term.
Do you play him in that lineup with Cat and Gobert?
You want to hear about my third option? You want to hear about girth and tonnage?
Girth and tonnage.
Where I play all 3 centers. And take a note from the Lakers in the bubble. You got to go big against the Denver Nuggets every now and then. Give them something different to work with. Make Michael Porter Jr. beat you off the dribble if you are playing with 3 bigs. Because I know in terms of the front court, in terms of the back court, I'm going to fuck that up a few times this video. I know we've got options. We've got Anthony Edwards. We've got Jaden McDaniels. We can lock those guys up.
You don't think with your scheme right now, Michael Porter's not going to be open in the corner for 90% of the game?
I think there's a possibility that the girth and tonnage backfires, but the other lineups, I don't think so. I think if we're strategic with Aaron Gordon,
How?
I think you can help off him a bit in the corners. I know if he's on the weak side, he's going to do that whole, this should have been a 50 dunk. Yeah. He's going to do that. And honestly, that you're going to have to live with that compared to Jokic and Murray beating you with uncontested shots. Force those plays. Let's go over to OKC. How are you going to stop him? Because you've won 3 out of 4 games this season against Denver. Are you going to be able to do it in the playoffs when you're just versing each other? No back-to-backs, no bullshit, none of that?
Well, let's talk about the OKC lineup first. So you've got Shea at the point, Josh Giddey at the shooting guard.
Okay.
Luke Dort at the small forward.
Are we praising this or criticizing this? I can't tell.
We're just stating the lineup. That's all we're doing.
Okay, that's all we're doing.
Lineup.
Okay.
Power forward, you've got J-Dub, and at center you've got Chet. I feel like J-Dub and Lou Dort are interchangeable though. They're about similar frames.
They'll
similar
switch.
size. You can agree with
They'll
that.
switch.
So matchup-wise, obviously you're going to have Chet on Jokic.
See, I told you that they just talk about the matchups, not nothing else.
Well, there is no scheme that can defend the Denver Nuggets to start off with.
All right, fair enough.
It's all personnel matchups. That's all it is. You cannot schematically beat the Denver Nuggets.
I gave you 3 plans that would probably fail just as badly as
Not
one.
probably, they will. Yes, exactly. So we're keeping it simple here. We're not going on
Okay.
some random tangent of just BS.
Okay.
So you got Chet on Jokic. You're going to have Lou Dort or J-Dub on Aaron Gordon, which is a matchup I'm willing to take because Aaron Gordon's not really a one-on-one scorer. He's got size, but as a one-on-one scorer, he's not.
Yeah, he's
huge
not putting
threat.
it on the floor the way the other guys are.
And then with Jamal, I've got Shea, who's one of the best guard defenders in the league. He leads the
100%.
league in steals as well.
100%.
And with the Nuggets, they like to play that 3-man action where Jokic is on the elbow, and then you got Jamal or Gordon setting a screen for each other, and someone's cutting, someone's popping to the 3. And I feel like with
John, I don't have the animations budget to like visualize what you've just
I'm
said.
sure you can, mate. I'm sure you can
Come
make
on,
it
brother.
happen.
I'm getting this video out tomorrow. We're competing. We're competing with LeBron and JJ Redick tomorrow. Do you know how fucked this is?
It's all right. I reckon we'll take it. We take it.
All right.
Yeah. And with Shea, I think he can stick tight to Jamal a lot. J-Double, Lou Dort, whoever's on Gordon, they'll be good at putting a body onto Jamal or Gordon just to stagger the screens a little bit more, delay them a little bit.
You've got all the right answers for 4 players.
I'm about to talk
Can
about-
you,
I'm about to
can
talk
you
about
tell
it.
me
About Jokic.
how the hell Chet Holmgren is going to do with Jokic?
Yeah. So with Jokic and Chet, I feel like you just got to play him one-on-one as much as you can.
Yeah.
Chet is a very good shot blocker, but it's Jokic we're talking about here. And Chet is quite slender as well. With Chet, because of his length, I feel like he has an advantage against other centers where he doesn't have to contest, like jump and contest.
He
a
doesn't
lot.
need to be tied. He doesn't need to.
So he can stay on the ground a lot because a lot of what Jokic does, he'll back you down a bit into the post and then he'll do the twist, the turns, the fakes. And once you jump, then he's wide open.
Yeah.
Like Chet can just hold his ground once he gets to Jokic to pick the ball up.
That's a lot of maturity you're
It is.
expecting from
It
Chet
is.
Holmgren, first season in the NBA.
Second season, he's not a rookie. And I feel like over this whole season, he's really matured. And he's a big factor as to why they're in the 1 seed right now. And
I thought it was just SGA's team. That's what you were saying. They'd be
it
be out
he's
of the
a factor.
playoffs.
He's a if SGA's not there, they're not in the playoffs.
Okay. All right.
They're not. But they're not a top 2 or 3 team with that Chet, in my opinion.
Okay.
And just defensively, if he can hold his ground, use his length, that's what it's going to be most about. Making those shots, those hook shots tough for Jokic.
So you can use
that's what it's all
length.
about.
You can use length, but I can't use girth and tonnage.
Rudy, he doesn't play with length.
Rudy doesn't play.
He plays with emotion. He's a good help
He
defender.
plays with
Other than that-
your emotions.
Nah, I play with passion and aggression.
Okay.
He plays with just
Girth and
goofiness.
tonnage.
No, just goofiness
All
and
right.
stupidity.
John, the viewers are getting bored. Can we talk about offense? How we're going to score against the Denver Nuggets? To start off, let's go. Let's stay with OKC.
With OKC?
You've got SGA. You can
you
end
Can you
this.
say his full name for me?
I'm not saying it.
No,
though,
say
no.
it. Who's SGA? I don't know.
Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
You're getting better. I'm teaching you well.
All right.
So, first of all,
Are you going to play the Australian?
if we don't, who do we play?
Anyone else?
Give me one name.
Have you seen
Isaiah Joe?
I was gonna say I was looking at the lineups. That first lineup has played like 600, 700 more minutes than any other variation.
Well, with the Australian, Joshua, I would have Giddy in there because
Yeah, you would.
he does take
Yeah, you would.
he does take some load off SJ in terms of ball handling. If SJ is the only sole main ball handler there,
Ball
all
handling.
the focus. Yeah, but with Shea though, he's unguardable. He's unguardable.
Yes.
Even
concur.
with KCP, who's quite a good perimeter defender,
He won't live up.
he's not
going
going to be able to hold
He won't live up to this.
Shea at all. And Shea, he's incredible around the rim, scoring around the rim, the way he finishes and gets to the rim. And with the hesitations he uses in the lane getting there, I feel like Jokic is not going to be a factor at all in terms of contesting shots. So Jokic has improved his defense in terms of reading passes, reading plays. But as a pure shot blocker and shot contester, he's not there. And I feel like Shea's going to have that free roam to score and dominate the game offensively. And then you got J-Dub, who will take the matchup of probably Aaron Gordon. I guess Aaron Gordon will be on him. Which will be a bit of a struggle for him, I guess, because Aaron Gordon is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. So a lot more of that load is going to be on Shea, and I think that's also where Josh Giddey comes in, because he'll have Jamal on him. And I feel like you can kind of exploit Jamal in the playoffs because he's going to take on a heavier load offensively. So Josh Giddey just running that pick and roll with Chet, getting Jamal and Jokic into that, running that pick and roll when you want to get Shea a rest. And you can create open threes of that to Lou Dort, J-Dub in the corner, or alley-oops to Chet. And there's so many of a variety of ways that OKC could score through that, just not through Shea with Josh and J-Dub. And I feel like that can cause troubles for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. I think the big way of scoring against Jokic is obviously if you drive at him, fair enough. But what I saw last year...
Drawing him out?
Huh?
Drawing him out?
Drawing him out, I think pick and pops, beating him on the perimeter is more sustainable.
The pick and pops with
Chet.
The pick
and pops with Chet.
Yeah.
And for myself with Kat Nasri, these are the sort of options where you're looking at Jokic spending more minutes of the game defending the perimeter, because when he's inside, John, he's comfortable. He's at home. He might not be good at it, but he's at home. He might be on Centrelink, but it's home.
Yeah.
And for what he did last year against Miami and Jimmy Butler's a traditional drive, trying to bump, those sort of things. It's not going to work as well because he's still such a girthy, long man.
Yeah.
And where you can expose him is not with that traditional hard-headed driving. I think this year we've fallen in love with the stop-start. You know, Luka's made it such a feature of his game, that slow Euro step. You've got players like Jamal Murray. Change of speed. And finally, Ant Edwards. He's talked about it this season, how he's tried to introduce that into his game, that stop-startedness.
That will take his game to another level.
For a guy that can dunk and kill a man like he did to John Collins yesterday, that sort of feature, that sort of versatility in how he's going to attack the rim is so important. And that's where I think the game starts for him. But Denver's smart. They're going to protect Jokic. They're going to find ways to hide him in the corner, rotate out, double, switch him out. I think there will be times where they avoid these matchups, and that's where a 5-out team, John, if you drop Rudy Gobert onto that bench, have him sulking, have him touching microphones, again, no COVID this time. But if you do that, you play maybe Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you play one of these other guys that can shoot the ball, you'll see a more fluid lineup. And that's why I said Nickeil Alexander-Walker, because that's the lineup that shoots the most threes for them in terms of their starting fives. So I'm going to go with that to round it off.
I think that the 5-man out thing is a big thing.
Miami never had that in that playoff run, and we took them to 6 games. It was a hard-fought 6 games. Lakers never had that. They got swept in 4. That could have been a 6-7 game series if you really think about it. So,
And that's where Isaiah Joe could become a crucial part in this series when he comes in for Josh Giddey with that starting lineup. Because then they're truly 5-out. Because I can see the Nuggets maybe putting Jokic on Giddey at times.
What about little Mike Musiala?
No, I don't want to hear any other names from the OKC bench. I don't.
Is it Musiala or Muscala? Because I've started saying Musiala.
I think it's Muscala. Musiala is our boy from
I know. Jamal, the real Jamal.
And also with Jokic on the perimeter, as you were saying before, the matchup with Boston a few weeks ago, I think the Nuggets were up by 10-12 with like 2 minutes to go. And then they put Jokic on Drew Holiday for some reason. And this man hit about 3 threes in about 40 seconds and made it a real close game in the last minute. So that's something you can expect.
They're going to gamble on that Australian boy.
They will, 100%.
Shots. And everyone's done it this season. Will. I don't see why not.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways, this is NBA Casuals, where we mix Legler and JJ Redick with Stephen A. and Skip Bayless. Okay. All right. That's you. So anyway.
No, that's you.
Next week, we're talking the underdogs for the NBA postseason, NBA playoffs. Obviously, we're talking about my team, the Miami Heat. So stay tuned, stay locked in for more NBA Casuals.
Life story next week, the underdog story.
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Your life story.
My life story, the underdog story.
You live it.
John, if she wanted to, she would.